let's go to Dharma.
Dharma, okay. Well, I very much like to emphasize Dharma when I'm teaching Hinduism, because I think in the United States, in the West, we have a tendency to think of Hinduism primarily as a religion of yogis, of people going off and meditating, doing kind of, fantastic feats of austerity. And
walking on nails.
That kind of thing. And Hinduism does have that aspect, but Hinduism is, and I think always has been, also a religion that's very concerned with the social order, with the human order of society, the state, and Dharma, for me, is the term that best gets at this worldly aspect of Hinduism. Dharma comes from a root that means to support or to maintain. And it tends to signify the order of things, both the cosmic order of things and also the human social order of things. And then at a still more immediate level, individual level, people talk about swadharma, one's own dharma, one's own code of conduct. How can I, as a Hindu, best conduct myself, given my particular place in society, given the nature of the world? How can I best bring my own activity in accord with these larger kind of orders of the cosmos and of society as a whole? So Dharma is a term that centers around that kind of orderliness, harmoniousness, and the practices that try to bring humans into an order.
When I hear it myself, I think of this almost pacifistic tradition, and yet the history of India has not been such a peaceful.
It has not been.
History.
No.
And how do you
reconcile?
That?
There's a lot of dispute about what the precise nature of Dharma should be. Very famous text, often called the Bible of Hinduism, the Bhagavad Gita, centers around that question. Great warrior Arjuna is on the battlefield. He's confronted with an army, an opposing army that consists in his kinsmen, and asks, "What am I supposed to do? If I fight, I will be, committing myself to try to kill my teachers, my cousins, my family. But if I refuse to fight, I will be going against another kind of dharma, my dharma as a warrior. My place in society is to be a warrior. I've been trained to be a warrior." And the advice of Krishna, this incarnation who happens to be his charioteer, is ultimately that you do have to fight because that is your dharma.
Like your moral duty.
Your moral duty, exactly so. And I think that a lot of the history of India, history of the dynastic history, let's say, of India, which consists of successions of wars between different claimants to the thrones of different regions. A lot of that centers around this notion of a specific dharma to warriors. Oftentimes those wars, we don't know, how deeply they affected the everyday life of the people of the region. But a great deal of Indian history, indeed, is about battles between Kshatriya warriors, between members of the warring classes.
In Western religion, Near Eastern religions, we often think of them as unfolding historically.
Yes.
Is there that sense in Hinduism as well? Are there great legends or myths or stories that now, to kind of track out the unfolding of the religion?
Yes. There are great legends. There tend to tends to be less of an emphasis on what in the West we would think of as historical legends of founder figures, and the same is true in Buddhism or Jainism, where the life of the founder becomes a kind of a central narrative for the religion to develop around.
Of course, in Hinduism, there is no founder.
There is no founder. So what we have are legends about gods and about the actions of gods. Oftentimes, the actions of gods on Earth, in real human society. So, for instance, a really good example is the legend of Rama, who is considered to be an incarnation of Vishnu, who most Hindus would say was, in fact, a human prince, king, who lived in Ayodhya in northern India, and who was, carried out these sort of divine actions in human society, defeating demons, bringing about a kind of a utopian kingdom. This was a god, the incarnation of a god acting as a human being. And that has a different flavor than the legends of the Buddha, because there's, I think, a greater emphasis on the perception of Rama's divinity. Similarly with the legends of Krishna. And both of these divine figures, both of whom are considered to be incarnations of the god Vishnu, are retold and retold and retold, and have been for at least 2,000 years, and figure very importantly in many modern day Hindus, beliefs and practices.